Welcome to Behavior Shift, the podcast where we explore the small shifts that lead to big change. I'm Ben.
And I'm Kurt, and today we're talking about something we all do. We do it all day long, but rarely do we stop to think about it. And I'm talking about making decisions.
That's right, we are making decisions all the time. And this episode is not just about the big ones, like what job to take on or who to marry, but the thousands of little ones that fill every single day.
Seriously, I mean, that's the important part here, right? Because research estimates that we make over 35,000 decisions per day. Now, that is a figure that I gets thrown around a lot. I haven't really been able to find the source of it. Having said that, we make a lot of decisions every single day. Now, most of them are tiny. You barely notice them. What shoes are you going to wear today? Whether to scroll another 5 minutes, or am I going to grab that coffee first, or I'm going to check my emails? Whatever it is, right? But many of them are more important. Like, am I going to study for that exam, or am I going to keep playing this video game a little bit longer, right? And then, of course, there are the big decisions in our life. These are the ones that don't come around every day, but they're important. Am I going to take that new job? Do I buy or lease our next car? Lots of those big decisions, right?
Yeah, and honestly, even if we're not making 35,000 decisions a day, the ones that we are making or that I'm making, I want to know that I'm not screwing up too many of them, right? A few's
Yeah.
okay, but not all of
Yeah.
them.
I'm going to screw up a few, but I don't want to be screwing up all of them, right? And here's the twist: even those small decisions matter because they stack, they compound. It's like interest.
Exactly, and we've talked about this on a previous episode, so if you wanna go back and look at that, as a good starting point, check it out. But Kirk, can you give us an example of what you're talking about here?
Yeah, so let's take something simple, like that double caramel latte that you grab every morning, Ben, right? You grab that every morning for an energy boost, right?
I don't. No caramel, just latte.
Okay, so one latte, no big deal. You do it on Tuesday, not a big deal. But if it becomes part of your daily habit, if you're doing a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all every week, right? Hey, pretty soon it leads to that energy crash every afternoon, might cost you 30 minutes of productivity a day, not to mention the cost of it, plus the few extra 100 calories that you're going to be intaking. So, yeah.
And if you think about that, if that compounds over time, that is a set number of days, maybe 5 or more days a year that are being wasted. Think about what you could do with that time if you blocked it together.
Yeah, 30 minutes a day, it's over 5 days a year, right? So an entire work week gone. A few extra 100 calories a day might equate to more than a few pounds a year as well, right? And not because of a massive decision, not but because of these small repeated ones, these micro decisions that set our patterns, and our patterns shape our lives.
Exactly. And so I get why this matters, and I'm sure our audience does too, for the most part. But why is decision making so hard? I mean, sometimes I can't even pick a show to watch, right?
Yeah, and good question, Ben, because our brains are juggling a lot. Every decision is influenced by the context within which it is made, how much time we have, how stressed we are, how tired or distracted we feel. Add in social pressure, add in your emotional state, add in cognitive biases, and it's a wonder that we ever even make one good decision a day, much less multitudes, right?
That's a little pessimistic, but what biases are we talking about here?
Yeah, so, I mean, just think about it. Status quo bias. We stick
Mhm.
with what's familiar, even if it's not the best for us. Or confirmation bias. We seek out information that supports what we already believe. There's choice overload, anchoring, availability heuristic. The list of biases is really long.
So we're basically swimming upstream in a river of mental shortcuts.
I like that. I like that. Mental shortcut river. There you go. Um, our brains have evolved to handle decision making from a much simpler world. Today's world is filled with complexity. It overwhelms our cognitive bandwidth. Just the number of the amount of information that we consume in a day is roughly what, people in the Middle Ages would consume in a lifetime, right? So we default to heuristics. It's meant those mental shortcuts that you said, which work most of the time. I want to reiterate that most of the time, but sometimes they don't work in our favor. And that's what we're going to talk about in this episode and the subsequent episodes as we're going in here. And we're going to talk about models of thinking. We're going to talk about system one thinking and system two in an upcoming episode. And yes, we're going to be thinking about this, and we're going to be talking about how decisions are hard because our brains are not wired to make the best decisions, but often they are wired to make the easiest decisions.
So, with these challenges in mind, what's the fix? How do we start making better decisions? What can we actually do about this?
Okay, so this sounds simplistic, but the first step is awareness. We need to notice the types of decisions that we're making. Are these the big who am I marrying, decisions, these irreversible choices? Are they the decisions around what I'm doing every day, the repetitive habits that I'm doing? Are they reactive, made under stress or pressure? Or are they ones that we get to think about for a long time?
So, what I'm hearing is that not all decisions carry the same weight.
Yes, exactly. Think of decision making as a continuum. Some are huge career moves, major purchases. We also have a lot of these, what we would call middle of the road decisions, those that matter but maybe aren't life altering. And then you have others that are these micro decisions that happen in a flash, and we don't really think about them that much, and they don't have that much of an impact on your day in any real meaningful sense. But again, those small decisions, when repeated, become habits, and habits create momentum toward or away from your goals, which we've talked about before.
hmm So, with goals in mind and decisions relating to them, it seems like every decision you're making is a bit of a vote for the kind of person that you want yourself to be, right?
I love that. Yeah, it's a vote. I love that idea. Okay.
Well, James Clear said it best. For those who don't know James Clear, go ahead and look him up. Really interesting guy. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. And that includes the decision to go for a walk or the decision to hit snooze on your alarm every morning. They all compound up and derive out who you inevitably become.
Right. That James Clear quote is really good. And we can't overanalyze everything. Like if we sat down and overanalyzed how many times I'm going to hit the snooze, or am I going to have pour a little bit more milk into my bowl of cereal or not, that's going to just be crazy. But we can set up systems and we can set up processes to help us make better decisions and to maximize those key inflection points in our lives.
Okay. Theory's great, but we're all about practicality here on Behavior Shift. So let's get practical for the audience. What can listeners do today to start making this happen?
Think about two small decisions that you made yesterday. Okay. Could be anything like, all right, I decided to have that ice cream sundae, or I decided to go take the dog for a walk after lunch, right? Whatever it was, small decision. Think about one of the a decision that could have a long-term effect, like spending time with your kids instead of checking the phone, and then one that might have a long-term negative effect, like stress eating chips at 10 p.m.
Okay. So I'm thinking and now I just feel guilty. So what do we do with this information?
No, that's not what we want. The goal isn't guilt, it's curiosity. Ask yourself, why? Why, Ben, did you make that decision? What were you tired? Were you distracted? Were you trying to feel better because of some emotional component that was in? That's the self awareness, right? That's the self awareness that is really gold that we want.
And that's because if you understand why you're making certain choices, you're more likely to make different ones in the future.
Bingo, right? When you slow down just enough to recognize a decision as it's happening, especially those small, repeatable ones, you gain a little bit of power. You start to steer your own ship instead of just being pushed around by the winds of our brains, right? And you're not just drifting.
And over time, that's how you sort of build your own personal groove, right?
Yeah, yeah, bringing in the groove, I like it. It's and remember this, it's not about perfection. It's about patterns, it's about putting in routines, and the good news is, if you're making 35,000 decisions a day, that's 35,000 different chances for you to shift and to get in that pattern and make good choices.
That's a great way to reframe it. I love that. 35,000 opportunities a day. And with that, that's a wrap. If you like today's episode, subscribe, share it with a friend, and maybe think twice before ordering that double caramel latte every day.
Or at least pair it with a walk, right? Pair that
Fair
with
enough.
a
Fair
walk,
enough.
right? All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. See you next time on Behavior Shift.